So how did you started branding yourself so that way you started getting members to join the gym?
I get fired, members were calling and they were leaving a very nice, well-equipped, air-conditioned gym to come work out with me in the garage. So, and they were paying me. Investors came up and we were looking for a gym.
Why do you think people follow you?
I think because they know I care.
What's 3 words that you use to describe yourself?
Passionate, strong-willed, witty.
Where do you see yourself then in the next 5 to 10 years?
In the next 5 to 10 years, I think I could have multiple gyms.
What is one of the biggest lessons that you've learned?
Follow your gut, no matter what people tell you.
If you had coffee with entrepreneur or someone, who would it be?
Mark Cuban.
Hello, welcome to Bizconnect, where we dive into the journeys of business owners, exploring their humble beginnings, challenges, wins, and their exciting path ahead. I'm your host, Annalyn Carter. And to kick off Women's History Month, I have a special guest today, Migdalia. My Spanish is not that great. Migdalia Sosa. Mig is the owner of Praise and a nutrition coach. Mig, welcome.
Thank you, Annalyn.
Mm-hmm. Welcome. Why don't you go ahead and introduce yourself and tell us a little bit about your business?
Okay, so I am the owner and head coach of Praise Athletics in Miramar, Florida. I'm also a nutrition coach. I got started on my journey when I was 32 as far as my fitness journey, because I had never really done anything fitness related before that. And it was really for aesthetic, vain reasons to start. And somewhere along the way, it just turned into my life, like it was a part of me. I found my calling.
Okay, awesome. All right, before we dive into that, let's talk about your humble beginnings. So I'm going to go back to 10-year-old Meg. Tell me about 10-year-old Meg and what was her dream?
So I was a pretty adventurous kid.
Okay.
I marched to the beat of my own drum. So
still do?
Yeah, I still do. I'm the oldest sibling. I have 2 younger sisters, and I have some half brothers and sisters. My parents were remarried. So I've always had kind of like a leadership quality about me. Bossy, really. Just a bossy kid growing up. I was pretty active. I wanted to do gymnastics and I wanted to do all of that. But my parents just wouldn't sign me up for stuff. I mean, they were kind of old school in that way. Girls don't do that. They stay home and do the laundry and the chores, and that's not, that's for boys.
So you mentioned that you started your fitness journey around 32. So how did you get into owning your own gym? How did that become?
So when I started my fitness journey, I was 32 years old. I had 2 boys back to back. I was pretty overweight after my second one. And my then husband, he's now my ex-husband, he had played for the NFL. So he played for 11 seasons. I had my second son and I was just pretty overweight. I didn't really know a lot about fitness. And he was really supportive. He had just retired. So he's like, all right, well, we can just get a gym membership if you want. He got tired of me, crying about not fitting into jeans. And so he's like, what do you want to do? You want to go to the gym, personal trainer? What do you want to do? So I'm like, well, I could do that. We could go to the gym and you can go play basketball or whatever. And I'll just get a personal trainer. So that's what I did. It wasn't really fun. I didn't really like the gym at all. Okay. And my personal trainer he was okay. He was just very popular in the gym. So he didn't really pay much attention to me. And to be honest, I just didn't even really know what I wanted other than I just wanted to be skinny and lose weight, just lose the baby weight. So then I ended up just trying different yoga, Pilates, different classes. And one day my friend called me up and she was like, hey, they opened the CrossFit gym right by your house. You should come try it with me. And I was like, okay. And I told Marty, Mel called, I'm going to go try this CrossFit gym out. And he was like, CrossFit? He had heard about it. It wasn't really big in South Florida. It was really a lot bigger in California at the time. And it just kind of made its way over. And he was like, I'm like, you should come try a class with me. He's like, I'm good. I already put that work in. Like, those days are behind me. So I was like, all right, I'm going to go try it. I almost died. I really did. I was so out of shape. I could not run like 100 meters. Like, it was crazy. It was.
Yeah, but CrossFit is like a lot of endurance and strength. So coming from someone who's just going to the gym, just, you know what I mean? For, like you said, just to lose weight, that's a whole different
Yeah,
ball
I had
game.
no idea. And honestly, looking back, I probably wouldn't have tried it if I had known that it was that. I didn't know enough about it to.
Right.
I really didn't. I had no clue what I was getting into. So that's why he was just like, okay, like you can go, but it's really hard. And I was like, yeah, it's fine. Mel's going. My friend was like very girly. So I'm like, she can do it. I can sure do it. And I really almost died. For real. It was so hot outside. I mean, my son was born in June and he was like, 6 weeks old when I tried that class. He was tiny. So it was July, August almost. Like, it was August. It was very hot outside. And I just remember the coach was like, all right, very militant style, like, run to the stop sign and back. It's like 200 meters, 100 out, 100 back. I was like, all right. And I'm like, stop sign. It's not that far. Like, I can see it. I barely got there. So I was like, I can't even run 100 meters. Like, this is crazy. So then I kind of jogged back and he's like, just, jog it out. I'm like, all right. I like jog back and I'm like, okay. I'm like, we haven't even started yet. Like, this is like a warm-up run. I go inside and then he starts explaining the movements and I'm like completely lost. Like, I'd never touched a barbell. And I'm just like, okay, just go air squat. I mean, and it wasn't a long workout. It wasn't like, it was just like a trial, like a beginner trial class. So I finished, I don't even know how I finished. It was just go at your own pace. And then it was kind of like, okay, we'll just go talk to basically his wife in the office and she'll just basically give you like the rundown, And she was like, okay, well, we're going to take your weight on the scale. And I was like, what? And I'm like, no. I wasn't here to like weigh myself, right? I just wanted to try a class. And she was like, yeah, but it's like an assessment. So like, we can see where you started. And, I was like, all right, so I get on the scale and the scale's at like 189. And I'm like 5'1". I had never seen that number in my life on the scale. Maybe when I was pregnant, like really pregnant. It wasn't much different than when I would weigh like when the baby was almost born. So I was like, whoa. I don't know who I thought like I was, like Beyonce. I was going to lose all this weight in 6 weeks. But I'm like, I just wasn't ready for that. Like, I really wasn't. Of course, I like looking back, it was probably part of their sales gimmick. So she was like, all right, well, do you want to sign up? Like, what do you want to do? These are packages. And I was like, yes, like clearly I need this in my life. Like, I couldn't run 100 meters. The heaviest I've ever been, like I was dying. Yeah, go ahead, sign me up. You know what? Just go ahead and sign me up for 3 months. Because I knew like if I had left there and come back on Monday when you're ready, I wasn't going to come back. Right. I really wasn't. I knew it was going to be enough to like, I was never going to come back. So then I'm like, 3 months, that's probably all I need to like lose a couple pounds and then you'll never see me again. So 3 months, I got home and Marty was like, he was just like, how was it? I'm like, it was terrible. It was like honestly the worst thing I've ever done. Like I don't even know what I was thinking. Like I didn't ask any questions. I just went. And he was like, I told you, like I was trying not to discourage you, but like, you really wanted to go and Mel was going and he's like,
so did you tell him I signed up for
so
the
I was
gym?
like, yeah, I signed up for 3 months. And he was like, you did what? I was like, yeah, I signed up. Like you should come with me. Like just do it with me, like.
So at what point you fell in love with CrossFit?
I think when I could finish that 400 meter warm up.
Okay. So eventually
without dying, like, which honestly didn't take me as long as I pictured it would. It took me a couple weeks, but I had hit so many, everything was a milestone there because I had never worked out like that. So it was like max out deadlift. No matter what, I was always gonna like PR. Or like my first 5K, like I was like, what? How long is that? Like, what is a 5K? What are the coaches talking about? Because they had been warning us like a couple weeks in advance, like, oh, we're gonna run a 5K soon. We're gonna test your benchmark. And I was like, what's a 5K? Like, where are we running? What is that? And the members were like, oh, it's like, it's just a couple miles, like three miles, no big deal for time. And I'm like, 3 miles? Like, I just started like a couple months ago. What do you mean 3 miles? Like, just 3 miles without stopping? Like, I just mastered the 400. Are you kidding me? So yeah, I did the 5K. I walked some of it, but
you did it.
Everything was like a milestone. So I think that was enough to like, I like this.
So let's fast forward to where, because I know that you personally, you started your gym at home, right?
So I started, basically I started at okay, so fast forward.
Yeah.
Marty had retired.
Okay.
And he was kind of looking for something to do post NFL. Like, we can't live off of your retirement forever, right? He's still young. So I was like, you know what? Maybe we should just get certified and like open our own gym. Like, CrossFit is just starting. Like, we're not,
so it wasn't big in Florida yet. So you were saying they just started.
Let's just open our own gym.
Okay.
And he was like, all right, we'll get certified. He had started with me at that point. And we got certified, and a gym opened around my house. And the guy who was opening it, I found like flyers. This was way closer to my house than the gym I started at. And I went on their website because I was certified to coach, but I was like, I've never coached before, let alone like open my own gym. Like, what am I doing? Who am I kidding? So I knew I didn't want to coach at the gym I was at because that's kind of like where I started. And this gym was a lot closer to me. So I just found a postcard and I went on their website, and this guy had won like the first Wadapalooza, which is a big CrossFit competition down here. And I kind of looked at his profile, and he was like competitor. So like, I liked CrossFit enough to know I wanted to maybe open a gym, but I'd never coached before. And I did like it enough where I was like starting to compete and stuff. So I'm like, you know what? I could learn, I can maybe coach. Like, the gym is brand new. He hasn't even opened yet. He hasn't opened yet on the website. And so like through friends of a friends, CrossFit is a big community. I got in contact with the owner. Now, the friend that like the 6 degrees of separation, he knew us. He knew Marty. So he basically pitches it to his friend, and he's like, listen, this girl's husband plays for the NFL. Like, she wants to coach. I never told him like I might want to open it. I just figured I'm going to go learn, like get all the knowledge. And of course I end up there for like 9 years.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. I
9 years. That was good. And you're getting the training
I was
and
getting
the knowledge.
Experience.
And
I learned a lot.
Right.
So then after 9 years, COVID hit.
Okay.
And
so then COVID's here. So now you're like, okay,
what are we going to do?
What are you going to do? Okay.
Like, at this point, I didn't own the gym, but I pretty much, it was mine. Like, we were just like, what are we going to do? Gyms were the first ones to close down. So we shut it down, and I'm like, we have to do something. Like, members are home. Like, they're not, what are we going to do? And at first with COVID, it was like, oh, see you. It was like spring break. We'll see you in 2 weeks. And then it was like, we're not going to see them in 2 weeks. This is way crazier. So we had to come up with a plan to like, I think it was like the day after we shut down, it was like, what are we going to do? We could let the members borrow equipment and program workouts from home, like get on Zoom. Like, what can we do? Just like brainstorm. So I was like, yeah, we're just going to have to like program the workouts, give them equipment that like everybody can use so we can program it. So something like dumbbells or kettlebell so we came up with like equipment packages. So like you could do, thrusters, let's say, with dumbbells or a barbell.
Okay.
So we just gave everybody like a little bit of everything, like little, so that we knew what to kind of program for them. And we ran it like classes. So I was like, we have to run COVID from the gym. Like, the members need to see we're here and we're active. And so we did it. And we would have members, we had classes. So I would still go to the gym at 5 o'clock in the morning to jump on Zoom and coach 5, 6, 7. And it was myself and another coach. And like, we only could be around that coach because, again, it was COVID.
Okay.
Do not open that door no matter what. Like, we just lock ourselves in the gym, coach our classes. We would work out and go home. Okay. And so COVID's over, we reopen.
So you reopened the gym after COVID?
Yep.
Okay.
We get some members back, but it was a little shaky. And we just didn't make it. We could not sustain with COVID. Yes, we had some members that came back, and we had some members that never canceled.
Okay.
But it just wasn't enough. So then COVID's over. We're starting to pick up steam again. And the plaza wants to renew our lease. We get bought out by a new plaza, by a new management company. So at that point, the owner just was like, what are we doing? Like, we had a good run. That was enough. So he shuts it down. I go to another gym. And at that, and like, he didn't give me a whole lot of notice. He gave me like maybe a month. After COVID, it was hard to find a job. So I went to a few CrossFit gyms in the area. I was bringing members with me. I end up at a gym that we don't have to talk about. So I go there. They had just opened. They opened during COVID.
Okay.
And so, yes, bring all the members.
So they were looking for new members to join their gym because now they're just starting a new gym.
Right.
Okay.
So I'm like, all right. And I go, and it's further out. So I'm like, you know what? Maybe at some point I will still open a gym. So this is not like, I'm not doing anybody dirty. I'm far enough away where like if I bring my members back, like no harm, no foul. Because it is a community and...
Right.
So I go there. I get comfortable again, you know?
How long were you there for?
I was there for 2 years.
Okay.
So when I get there, I don't have a lot of hours for you, but you know, you could do the nutrition coaching. And, you know, I had been coaching at Siege, but I had to shut that one down because Siege closed down. So I had the Siege name. So I started my LLC for nutrition coaching. I get here, I get my foot in the door. They only have like 10 hours a week for me coaching. I was working 40 hours a week plus nutrition. So the owner's like, listen, you could do nutrition, do it all. I just opened the gym. I'm really overwhelmed. I have coaches. I don't have more hours to offer you. So if this is a way where I can kind of keep you here, just here, so you don't have to coach anywhere else, do what you have to do.
Okay.
Start my nutrition program.
So how did you started like branding yourself so that way you started getting members to join the gym?
So from there, I start my nutrition program.
Okay.
From the ground up again. Now it's macros with Mig, nutrition coaching, and I'm not like part of that gym. I can coach anyone.
Okay.
But I am a coach there 10 hours a week. So most of the clients I'm getting are from the gym. So I'm doing that for 2 years. I'm constantly pumping members in from, remember, this is after COVID. So there's people that I've known from this area for 9, 10, 13 years now. And they're calling me for nutrition coaching. They're going to that gym. All these people from Siege are here. You know what? Sign me up. So I'm still bringing clients to that gym. And then after 2 years, they're like, you know, we're going to start taking 30% of your nutrition program. And I said, 30%? Like, I've been at 30%. Like, it took me 2 years. Like, 30, that's a lot of my income. I only coach 10 hours a week. So in the negotiations, finally, I'm like, you know what? I don't have to coach nutrition here. I can do this on my own.
Okay.
So I do that. And
that was your aha moment.
It really was. So in that, there just came a point where it was a major conflict of interest because now I'm going to people's houses, not necessarily members, my own clients, like from Siege, and doing nutrition coaching. So at some point, it was conflict of interest, you're fired. So members from Siege were like, no, you're not.
You're going to come
work out of my garage. And you open your own gym. Do what you got to do.
Wait a minute. The members invited you to come to their garage?
So I had members from Siege that I was coaching through COVID, that had followed me to the other gym, that have known me for 13 years now. So I get fired. Word gets around, of course. You know, we had to let her go, you know, conflict of interest. They didn't say why. They, of course, don't mention the 30% that they want from my income. But, of course, the Siege members were like, excuse me, what? Where are you coaching? Like, what is going on? And I'm like, well, I got fired. Conflict of interest. I was coaching nutrition, you know, my company on my own. And I didn't want to split the profits with them. So I got fired. Oh, okay. Well, come work out in my garage. You coach me through COVID. You know, I have enough equipment. So I show up to work out, like distraught, like I have no job. out of nowhere. And they're like, no, you can coach out of my garage. We can fit about 5 or 6 people in here. We did it all through COVID. We have enough equipment. Whatever equipment you have, you want to bring it, you bring it. Run your classes out of the garage. Open your own gym, Mig. Like, it's time. You're making other people money. You have a good following. Just do it. Like, just get it done. Do what you have to do until you get it done. And at the very least, you can sustain your income until you figure it out.
Oh, that's amazing.
So that's what we did. So sure enough, as wind started to get out, or the story that I got fired, members were calling, and they were leaving a very nice, well-equipped, air-conditioned gym to come work out with me in the garage. So, and they were paying me, and I'm like, this is crazy. So before I knew it, I had 2 garages. So another set of members called me, and we were having like full-blown classes. And then Saturdays, I would have a couple classes at one garage and then go to the other garage. So then I just started to get my little following in that. Investors came up, and we were looking for a gym. Like, before I knew it, we were looking for a gym. And in that, a garage client brings a friend of hers.
Okay.
And her gym's closing down. And it was like divine intervention there.
I have a question, right? Why do you think people follow you?
I think because they know I care. So you could be a great coach as far as like technique and a good employee, show up to work in time, and you can do all the right things. But at the end of the day, if it's something you're passionate about, you're always going to succeed in that. So I think in general, members, they know I care.
Okay.
So I think in that sense, it's like Cheers, you just want to go where everybody knows your name. Like, the goals are important, all of that's important. But what matters most is that you're passionate. Everything else will come. It'll come.
So I think that's probably also part of your brand, right?
Yes.
That separates you from other coaches or gym, right? Because there's a few gym around, right? I'm actually a member of her gym, right? And I want to say to you that I've tried other CrossFit, but when I actually came to you, because I got invited by one of your members, it was just a different, the environment was different, right? It was like a camaraderie of people who also care about you. Like, it was very inviting, right? So I really do, I like that. And then getting to know you and, teaching me about how to, about nutrition, right? And help me to become stronger. So I do believe that you do care about your members.
So I always feel like people in general, right? Like, you have to be a people person, at least in this industry, in the fitness, health, and wellness industry. You have to be a people person because you have to resonate. You got to get through. I was a bartender for a long time.
Okay.
They're very similar. Bartenders are like therapists. I am like a therapist in that sense, because I do get people from all walks of life, and you guys are in distress a lot of times. Why would you program this? I'm having a bad day. So you have to really be able to connect with people. I do feel people have like the thing that's like their blessing and their curse. Some would say I care too much.
Okay, I get you.
So I'm okay with that. Like, it's fine by me. But it's what's helped me get through life, and it's also what's like caused me to like bump heads with people sometimes. Like, no, I'm just trying to help you. So it's just that, it's in that sense, like, we all have that thing about us that like is our light and is like the thing that'll hold us back at times if we're not aware of it.
How did you come up with the name Praise?
I had somebody in my corner who's an investor who was, from the moment I met him, he was like, why don't you have your own gym?
Okay.
Like, and this was maybe 2 weeks of working at that second gym. So I was like, my old gym just closed down, and like, I have to work. I have 2 boys. Like, I don't have $100,000 to just open a gym right now. Clearly I got comfortable and I didn't do it. And he's like, well, you should just do it. I'm like, yeah, but it's not that easy. Like, I still have to like survive and maintain. And he was big on just do it. The things will come. They'll come. So when I went to Praise, it wasn't Praise, obviously then, the name came about, this person is an investor now, and he is really into like branding and the marketing and fashion and design, all of it, right? So when everything happened at that last gym, he's like, you need to just, even though you're happy there and you like it from the very beginning, he's like, just start thinking about things like, business plan and what you would name your gym. And, it should be like one word, and just, start thinking about it. I don't know much about the CrossFit world. I'm not affiliated with CrossFit now, currently. That hasn't been decided yet. But he's like, you want something that isn't just like catchy for your gym,
right.
but like branding wise, you can still sell it,
Right.
So I was like, all very good ideas and like little tidbits he would throw me. And the week before I got fired, I was having surgery. So I had a cyst, my uterus, and I had polyps. So I had to have everything removed, right? So this was a week before I got fired. They knew I was going into surgery. So at that point, I didn't want to talk about the nutrition, the 30%. Wait till I get back. So with all that, this investor was there, and I was literally waiting for surgery. And I was like, I know what I want to call the gym. And he was like, what? I said, Praise Athletics. Like, I love it. The whole, obviously, praise God, right, for my blessings. Like, hopefully I make it out of this surgery, no issues. But personal records, women in general, I think we're really hard on ourselves. There's not a lot of women-owned gyms in the area. And we don't praise ourselves enough sometimes just for showing up. I worked 5 a.m. for 9 years. The majority of my members are women. And they're so hard on themselves. So I'm like, you know what? Praise athletics. I'm like, that's what it is. The PR, the praising ourselves, praise God. I'm like, that's what we're gonna name it. And he was like, it's perfect. I love it. Don't tell anybody. Do not tell anyone. Nobody. I was like, okay. He's like, don't tell anyone. So I was like, all right, don't say anything. So a week later, I go back to work and I get fired. And that was it. We start putting the business plan together and the garage, and here we have it. Praise athletics.
That's awesome. That's awesome. And, to go back to what you say that as women, we don't celebrate ourselves, right? Or give ourselves the praise because for me sometimes, and it just resonated with me, getting up at 5 o'clock every morning to go to the gym.
Amen. Because honestly, what are you doing here right now? Like, I had a lady come, she dropped in today. I've known her for years. Her name's Ann. She came today. She's like, her hairdresser came to try a class. You saw him.
Yeah.
So, and I said, if she brought her hairdresser in,
that's someone that she really trusts.
One. Two, as soon as she walked up, she's like, Mig, it's nighttime. What am I doing here right now? I'm like, Ann, you did it for Will, She's like, people really do this? I said, yes. And then sure enough, I'm like, yes, they do this. I'm like, they walk in like, zombies, but they do this. And that is, we have a lot of members, right? They come at 5 a.m., but the majority are women.
No, that's true. And sometimes to see the gym, 5 a.m., they're like 10, 15 members. It's like, are you guys serious?
Yeah.
You must be crazy.
The rest of the gym has no idea you guys exist at all.
Right.
Because they're like, there's no way. Even the 6 a.m. is kind of like, I wake up early. I can't believe these people are here right now.
I think I asked you already, what makes your gym stand out compared to others. And it's that caring, right? It's almost like you build like this community, this tribe, this family. I want to say that I think it was last year during Christmas, or Thanksgiving, you actually had Thanksgiving as a family. Like you invited us to come and join you for things. I think that was such a great thing. I've never been in a gym where they actually do that. And
really?
Yeah. And everyone was so excited, to come and be a part of that. Even I wasn't there personally, but just the joy and just seeing like the messages and everyone just coming together, says a lot about you.
It's a great community. There's a lot to be said for us. Like, we suffer through these workouts together, and we're all regular everyday people. We have our 9 to 5s, and I've always kind of had that motherly. I'm the motherly friend. I may not always take my own advice, but I will give it to you. If you want it, I'll give it to you. So I've had that kind of motherly quality always since I was very young. So I thought, it's important to get us together. We used to do it at Siege too, and I was like the gym mom. That's who I was always. So I was the one in charge of like, okay, we're going to do a beach workout, and we're going to do the Thanksgiving potluck. And the owner was like, go ahead. You that's fine. You do that. He was really young. So he's like, Adrian, we can't do that. We have to give him at least a month notice. The kids are out of school. Like, you got to give them time if you want them to show up. You want these events to be successful and members you got to give them time, because they are families. They are, we do want to hang out, but we have other things to do. And a lot of these things I learned from being at both gyms.
Okay.
Even though it didn't work out for the best, it did work out for the best for me. I had to be there. I had to see how they did things. There was a lot of things I wouldn't do, but there's a lot of things that they did right, and I learned from them. And so it was all a lesson. It was all part of the plan, even the way it ended.
Okay.
I don't, hate them. I don't dislike them. I probably wouldn't have done things the way they did it, but it's okay. It was the best thing that could happen to me.
So you mentioned that you have that that motherly love ready made. So I want to talk a little bit about your personal life. Like, how do you balance being a mom and operating and running your business?
I don't. Honestly, it's all very new. So it's, I'm just winging it. I really am. I'm just winging it. My boys are teenagers now, so they're young men, which is crazy to think about how time, just flies by. But 14 and 16. I do co-parent. I'm probably the most proud thing about us is our co-parenting style. So he knew, and I've always communicated with him that I'm gonna be opening a gym, and we're going to need all hands on deck, because, I'm not going to be home as much, and I am going to have to spend a lot of time there. He's very aware of how the gyms run. So, yeah, so we wing it as best we can. The boys have like a conference or something. It's just, we've always been, are you going? Yes, I'll be there. I'll be there too. Cool. I mean, we try to work it around my schedule, but if there's things that like I can't do for whatever reason, if I, give him enough heads up, yeah, no problem. I'll take him. He's awesome. I will say that. I don't know if I would be able to be there as much if I didn't have
his support.
Yeah, that support from their dad, which is
all right. So let's talk in terms of like having a gym, because I know you said that you didn't know about like running a business, right? That was like probably the most difficult part of it, right? So probably have to get an LLC, taxes, all this stuff. How did someone help you along the way? Like how did you maneuver that?
I didn't. Again, all of it was very, very new to me. So I do have a strong team of investors, but the way we came about this gym, I mean, we bought out another gym. Right. So it was, yes, all part of the business plan initially, but as things came about, it was so fast. We didn't have a lot of time so it was like, okay, we're going to buy the gym from you. Okay, we got to start the LLC. We'll open the bank account. When's rent due? So a lot of it was just kind of winging it at first. And then it was, okay, we have to get an accountant so like we can keep track of everything. And we have to get an attorney, do all of our agreements and stuff together, because the way we went into the gym and we bought them out was kind of unique. So it was settling all that with the investors and then the old owner. So I would say get a strong business attorney. And definitely an accountant because that'll help. But man, if you can get somebody to help you with a business plan, because you can know your niche and your market very well, but you have to know all the ways around the business. So if you don't, you got to get somebody who does.
Right,
So that
get a team, like a network of people that can assist you.
So part of my investors was that, like, I had somebody who was, the community was strong. I had a good like little list of people who were willing to invest, but I had to be able to use them in that way that I needed so that I could run the gym and still focus on coaching and the members and do what I do.
It's good.
So I had to be a little selective with the investors that I had, and then, I lost some along the way, but.
Okay. So as a business owner, what's one of the misconceptions people have about being an entrepreneur? What do you think?
Oh, that you're rich. That you make so much money because you have your own business, right? Like, I mean, look at all these people in here. That's usually, no, not at all. I mean, the first couple years it's a grind. It's a growing pain. Yeah. But I think that's the biggest one. So even if I have like, the fumigator come by the gym or something, I'm like, yeah, the owner's not here. Like, okay, can you just give me a quote? I'll just let the owner know. Because the minute they're like, oh, you're the owner, girl. Look at this. Like, no, that's it for everything. I'm like, okay, or if they come by to like try to sell something, are you the owner? I'm like, no. What's up? What do you mean?
Do you think being a woman, they probably take advantage of you too?
100%. 100%. Yeah, it's just, I mean, as far as buying like supplements or like, even the members at times, like they don't know me oftentimes. So new members, sometimes being a female in this industry I already know that. I've been lifting since I was 10 years old. And I'm like, yeah, but it's not the same. This is different.
No, absolutely. What is one thing that you wouldn't compromise about your business or you being a coach?
One thing that I would not compromise? Not being there. Like, I have to be there. I have to be there. So, I mean, I can go on vacation and stuff like that, but I think even, like, with the coaches, right? Because that's one thing members ask is, like, oh, how are you here all the time? Like, we're open 7 days a week. So I think even when hiring coaches, it has to be someone who cares. They can't, because it's like leaving my kids with somebody. Like, I just can't leave them to just anyone. It has to be someone who's equally passionate about fitness and health and people's well-being, All
right, so I like that, right? You say that not compromising, not being at the gym, but what I don't want to use the word motivate, but what drive you to always want to be there, like for your members, like, you know what I mean? Is there something that you practice, or?
I think it's the standard of, having somebody who's not just gonna make sure that like you don't blow your shoulder out in a snatch, but who's gonna, did you sleep last night? Like, you look a little wonky today. Who actually cares enough to like reach out. Right. Because you all drive me, I mean, it's a business, and yes, I have to feed my family and at some point hopefully be very successful and, open multiple gyms. But for now, it is my bread and butter, but it's my bread and butter because I do care, and, I don't want to miss anything. I don't want to miss anything. So it's until it's ready to be not so hands-on, I don't think that's going to happen. But
I mean, what about so where do you see yourself then in the next 5 to 10 years?
In the next 5 to 10 years, I think I could have multiple gyms.
Okay.
But we would have to set up some type of like live feed so I could be at all of them at the same time. Because it's just, you have to be there. You have to be there. And I learned that even with bartending, you have to be there. You have to be there, because who's making those connections on your behalf of your brand, your business?
Because the brand is actually you. You know that, right?
I do. I learned that the hard way. But yes, it is. I am the brand.
Yeah, you are the brand. What is one of the biggest lessons that you've learned?
One of the biggest lessons that I've learned
Yeah,
is
being an entrepreneur.
follow your guts. Like, no matter what people tell you. I mean, yeah, you know people who are like experts in the field, and you ask for help when you need it. You know, social networking is big. I mean, I've met a lot of people through the gym that just asking that, oh, what do you do?
Right.
You know, even if you do have a small business or a business, your clients, like, get to know them. What do they do? Obviously, depending on the business you're in. I'm at a gym, and people pay really good money to go there. So they're not paying $10 a month at LA Fitness. So, like, what are they doing to be able to? I just want to know. So making those connections where, you know, you may need them one day. You may need, even if it's just a simple question. If you know people in the right places, even members will come to me like, hey, do you? Yes, actually, you know what? I do know somebody, you know? And I mean, that's how we met. That's how you became a member. So it'll help you all ways around. And in turn, if you can help a member make that connection, then it always comes back to you.
I was going to ask, the next question would be like, what would you, a lesson or something that you'll tell an entrepreneur that's starting, that would be a good lesson to make sure that they make connections, right? And connect with their peers, or even if they have a business or service, whatever service their customers may provide, to make sure that they stay connected, right?
Absolutely. And like, make those connections, you know, look people in the eye. Like, we're in a time right now where we're so, you know, it's always on our phones. And so people just want to know you're listening. And if you are, you'll remember them. You'll remember what they do, and when you need them, they'll come around. Like, you have to know the right people and use them when you need them. So just get to know who you're working with.
I want to ask you this question, right? So I started off the segment with tell me about 10-year-old Mig, right? What would you tell your younger self?
I don't know, because that younger Meg was, I never saw myself doing anything like this. Like, I did not ever know what I wanted to be when I was like a kid. But I always had people in my life, grandparents, you know, they were like, you know, you're probably going to do something with people in, you know, maybe be a doctor or nurse, or like where you're going to help people. Mm-hmm. Just help people. My sister is a nurse. My grandmother was a nurse. And I was like, I don't like the medical, you know, school. Like, that's not for me. So I do help people, just not in that way.
I guess I should phrase that question a little differently. I'm going to phrase it a little differently. What advice would you give 10-year-old
Keep
Mig?
marching to the beat of your own drum, because if you do what you love, it's what you love. You never really have to work a day in your life. Like, yeah, we all need jobs. We have to pay our bills. But if you really, really love it, all of that will come. The success will come. So do what you love and just hit it hard.
All right. Without you give that your sons that same advice?
Yes, I do. I have, my boys are like the yin and the yang. They're so opposite, personality-wise, like so opposite. I tell them both, have to do what you love. If it's football, that's cool, and you can pursue that. But you know, you gotta have something to fall back on. Do what you love. We never pushed it on them. I have one that like, it's social little butterfly, go. I have one that's, no, just stay home with you. I'm like, all right, well, you know, you can't stay home with me forever. Come on, we gotta figure out what you're gonna do with your life. But if it's video games, then, you know, let's get into computers or something. IT work.
All right,
you know?
Awesome. All right, so I'm gonna get into this little fun section of the segment, right? If you had coffee with I don't know, an entrepreneur or someone that you look up to, someone's that here or past, who would it be?
That's a tough question for me, because
could be anyone.
I haven't like sought out, maybe like Mark Cuban or something, only because he seems like cool.
Okay.
He's into like sports, and he's successful at it because of it. You know, it wasn't just, you know, he seems like a cool guy to hang out with, pretty like reasonable with his decision making on Shark Tank. I guess it would just have to be somebody that I like have something in common with, I feel like.
Okay.
You know, because I was thinking like different, like Steve Jobs. I was thinking like, but you know, I'm not a techie person. Like, I'm just not a techie person. So that wouldn't really appeal to me. But Mark Cuban, like, we could go talk about basketball, I guess. Like, you know,
All right.
something fitnessy.
What's 3 words that you use to describe yourself?
Passionate, strong-willed, I guess. Witty. I think witty's a good one.
Yeah, I can see that. I can see that. And if you had to choose a theme song for yourself or the business, what would that theme song be?
For the gym, for
Yeah.
like the business, like if I had to choose a song, you know that's hard for me, Annalyn, because we have different themes of music for different days. So it would have to be like, you know, probably something
Is there a
fun.
song that gets you going? Like, is there a song that just gets you pumped?
There's a lot of songs that get me pumped.
Give
There's
me
a lot of
one.
songs. Unfortunately, a lot of them are like Kanye West songs, and he's like really like in the doghouse right now. So
it pumps you.
I do love, you know, a good bit of Kanye, and I'm a big hip hop. So Jay-Z, you know, we talk about this often. One favorite song,
All right, give me 2.
dude. Let's start. Like to dance to or to just play.
All right,
like,
just the play that just gets you, hear it and you like,
you know, anything Bad Bunny. I love that guy
okay,
right now.
All right,
That's a good one right now.
Well,
Anything Bad Bunny. Anything.
Okay.
If it has anything above that 130 beats per minute, we doing that.
All right, cool. What's one fun fact about you that nobody knows? Do you mind sharing?
That nobody knows.
Yeah, something fun about you that like most people don't know.
Fun.
Yeah. Okay.
And it makes me. I love tacos. I think that's a big one most people wouldn't know.
We do know that.
Yeah. You really,
what do you do?
Yeah, I do love tacos. I don't drink often, but when I do, tequila's the fun one. Yeah.
Okay. All right. Cool. So what's your favorite vodka tequila you use? Well, what's your favorite tequila?
My favorite tequila is Mi Familia Flores.
Oh, okay. All right. Cool.
Yeah, it's a good one.
Cool. It was fun having you here.
Thank you.
All right.
Thanks for having me.
Yeah, and I hope my audience learned a lot about, you being an entrepreneur and owning the gym and what it takes. It was a great story. I want you to take this opportunity and just tell them where they can find you, your Instagram page, Facebook.
All right, so we are Praise Athletics in Miramar, Florida, 12180 Miramar Parkway. You can find us on Instagram under Praise Athletics on Instagram. Our website, praiseathletics.com. Pretty much that's it. Catch us there, 5 a.m. Just kidding. We have classes all day.
You should tell, what time are the classes?
So we have 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 a.m. And we have 4:30, 5:30, 6:30, 7:30, Monday through Friday. And then Saturday we have morning classes, and Sunday we have morning classes.
And you also do have an open gym?
We have open gym during all that time.
Right.
So we do it all. Bodybuilding, machines, all of it.
And she's also a great nutrition coach.
Yes.
Yeah.
Super fun.
Yeah. Taught me about macros, which I knew nothing about.
But now you're a pro.
Thank you. Thank you again, Mig.
Thanks, Annalyn. Yeah. So much fun.
All right. Awesome.
Thank you.
Thank you for tuning into another episode of Bizconnect. Your support fuels our mission to empower entrepreneurs, and we're grateful to have you in our community. A huge thank you to our title sponsors, Carter & Carter Business Solution, your one-stop solution for all your business services, including business consulting, tax services, payroll management, business credit, and so much more. Let them streamline your success. Please reach out at 786-985-1383 or visit them on carterandcarterbusinesssolution.com. If this episode added value to your journey, please like, share, and subscribe with your friends and family and fellow entrepreneurs. Together, we're building a community where ideas grow and dreams take flight. Stay inspired and see you next week.